This is Rick Mason, the executive producer and host for the all-new WLOVCW and My Mississippi. Join us each and every Saturday morning, 6:30 a.m. and Sunday nights at 10 p.m., where we'll give you informative news and so many great things to offer you here in the Golden Triangle area and beyond. Check us out. We're on in 4 states, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Email us at issuestalkshow@gmail.com. Give us a call, 662-386-6064. It's the television talk show Issues.
For the television talk show Issues, I want to mic you up, Mr. Ralph Carter.
Thank you.
How you doing, Ralph Carter?
All right, Brother Rick.
Hey, man, how you been doing, man?
Well, first and foremost, I'm honored to be on your program today, and also to your wonderful viewers. Thank you for 50 years of watching Good Times.
Yes.
This is our 50th year anniversary, and along with my colleagues, Miss Bernadette Stannis and Jimmy Walker, we've been touring this wonderful country and receiving so much positive energy. We're literally receiving avalanches of love and congratulations from people of all ethnic backgrounds.
All genres.
Oh yeah, but primarily when it comes from your own people, it's a different level of touching and warming the heart.
And nothing like being Black History Month. This is the first day of Black History, February the 1st.
It is a beautiful, it's a beauty that we're doing it on the 1st because this actually is the day that Langston Hughes, the famous world poet, was born.
Man.
In Joplin, Missouri.
Wow.
So we're speaking on an anointed day as well.
This is a blessing, man.
We thank our ancestors, man.
It's 2025.
Yes, brother.
And people, again, this is Ralph Carter, a.k.a. Michael Evans from Good Times.
And we thank you.
And how many years?
Good Times, officially now we're going into the 51st year.
Uh-huh.
We began Good Times, actually it aired in February of 1974.
Wow.
February 8th was the first time Good Times was ever on national television.
Man.
And we opened to a viewership of over 50 million people.
Right.
And when you think about those numbers, it's enormous because it also increased.
Uh-huh.
The more popular the show became, the more people began to watch it.
Man, I tell you, and me as a kid growing up watching Good Times, it was almost like the show was simply about African Americans living in the projects never can get to the next level. But you guys never gave up.
That's right. And you had the beauty of it too, thanks to the grace of Esther Roll. She made sure that we had a complete African family unit.
Mm-hmm.
When the show was first developed, she was a single woman living in the project. And my point being that she demanded to Norman Lear that she have a husband.
That she had to have a husband.
She had to have, and if you want me to be in this show,
right?
Because she had previously been on Maude, and she was the maid on Maude along with Beatrice Arthur and Bill Macy. Mm-hmm. My point is that was also a Norman Lear tandem production with Bud Yorkin. That was his co-producer. My point being that Esther Roll, through her grace, she demanded that, and as a result, you got the chemistry between Esther Roll and the impeccable John Amos.
And the big picture is that she said she had to have a husband because they're trying to have the typical mindset of African American, women raising their kids on their own.
Right.
And she was against already living in the projects.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And although it might have fallen into a stereotype, I was raised in a single home.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was a single African American woman who
look how you
raised
journey.
us. And my point being that that's no aberration against single black women.
No.
Our women have been the backbone.
She just wanted to give an outlook and let them know that hey, there's different ways. Everybody don't raise.
That's right. And even though there were times when we seemed to have been impoverished, what made it really beautiful through the character that John Amos and Esther Roll did and their magical genius. Their chemistry was fantastic, Brother Rick. Mm-hmm. And my point being is that they said, let's make this work, Esther. Mm-hmm. And they did. Because he, in spite of his economic conditions, he stayed. When some black men would have left, in his integrity for that character, he stayed with that family. Even though he got beaten down by the society and he had to deal with all types of discrimination, whether it was age discrimination or his inability to do certain things because he had reached a certain educational level to a certain grade.
And that's why he would always have problems getting a job or keeping a job because they would.
Absolutely, because I've known a lot of PhDs who are some of the stupidest people I have ever met. They know
Yeah.
a whole lot about a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes the so-called common man, the self-taught man,
Yes.
is an encyclopedia unto him or herself.
The main thing that a lot of people probably got out of watching Good Times is that the struggle is never over. Every day there's an obstacle. Every day there's a hill to climb.
Yes.
Every day you guys had challenging moments.
Yes.
And you playing Michael on the show, you was like this black power advocate, but you were educated and you were always reading, wanted to be a lawyer, this, that. How did that role come about?
I think because of the people we consider, we're the so-called front people sometimes. You see us. But behind the scenes, the show was created by Michael Evans. Michael Evans was the original Lionel on All in the Family and the Jeffersons. So my point is that Michael Evans, along with Eric Monti is the writer of the classic coming-of-age film Cooley High.
Yes.
And
yes.
Eric Monti, because that soundtrack was like no other soundtrack,
Yes,
you know.
I agree.
And when Cochise died, we died and we cried, you
Yes.
know. And when they had my brother singing "How Do I Say Goodbye,"
Yeah.
you know, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
I mean, it
wasn't a dry eye in the house.
It was something unique. And then we visited on yesterday. We was in Washington.
Yes.
And we visited the museum.
I had no idea that we were canonized like
While
that.
we were touring the museum, the tourist lady said, "Hey, come on, let me show you something." She called you Michael, but
Yes,
again,
I
Ralph.
had no problem.
And we took you in, and you were so amazed and surprised that you didn't even know that you were getting that type of attention in a museum.
I was literally awestruck because I think that it's also a testimony to the work that we did as an ensemble group. And I'm very grateful because I thoroughly enjoyed work with John Amos and Esther Rolle. Bernadette Stannis, her beauty is unimpeachable as well.
And she's playing on a lot of soap opera type series now.
Bernadette,
the Hamptons.
Bernadette's always working. She's
the Cars Family Way, and she's doing her thing. And
still going strong.
It's still going strong.
It's still going
so
strong.
JJ's out in Los Angeles.
Jimmy Walker lives in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, not Los
and
Angeles.
as a comedian, he's constantly on tour. So the dynamics of his work, my work, I'm a natural theater actor. Most of the people who were on Good Times are African American theater actors and actresses. My point being, I've known John Amos since I was 10 years old.
Wow.
I first met John Amos when I was in my second Broadway play. And in that play, he played my grandfather.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, in that same play, you had the dynamic actress, Miss Chip Fields, who is the mother of Kim Fields.
Yes.
So
yes.
I
We played on different strokes.
Right, but I met Kim at that time when she was 2 years old.
Wow.
She has flowered into a brilliant producer, director,
Yes.
a magnitude of a woman, but it's also through the wonderful grace of her mother, Chip. So my point being is that at that time, I was working with John Amos then. So my affiliation with him was already cemented.
Man.
And I met Esther Rolle through the fact that as a theater actor, she as well saw me in the Broadway theater circuit. And my point is that she also is a founding member of the Negro Ensemble Company.
Wow.
Along with Robert Hooks
Wow.
and Jerome Kern. You had just a
plethora
plethora
of people. Yes.
solid black actors
Wow.
who created the Negro Ensemble Company, on Francis Foster as well. These are people who lay the foundations for a foundation that protects the rights of black artists in American culture.
We'll be back in just a moment for the television talk show. We're here live in Baltimore now, but we were in Washington on yesterday. We're getting ready. We have a off-Broadway stage play out of New York, Justice on Trial, executive producer and writer, playwright Chad Lawson Cooper,
The one and
along with
only.
Harry Lennox from the Five Heartbeats. And the show is going to be at Howard University today, and this is a Black History moment right here.
Yes, it is.
Ralph, this is a Black History moment, and you and I usually play a past theater, but this time I'll be playing one of the attorneys along with you.
Yeah.
And this is going to be real interesting, man, and this is going to be a moment.
It's going to be a gas.
It's gonna be crazy, man. 662-386-6064. Either email the show at issuestalkshow@gmail.com, or either give us a call. I just told you 662-386-6064. We'll be back in just a moment for the television talk show. Issues.
Stay tuned. Issues Television Talk Show. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
This is how we do it.
It's a lovers and friends Valentine's Day Ball, brought to you by B&R Production, performing live, Marcellus, the singer. Also on the same show, Miss J. Sine.
Baby, I'm a real, real woman.
Also, the artistic band and show will be performing live Friday night, February the 14th, 2025 at the Trotter Convention Center, downtown Columbus, upper level 402 2nd Avenue North in Columbus, Mississippi. Doors open up at 6 p.m. Showtime's at 7 p.m. Music and sound and mix by DJ Lovebone. Crowd control, yours truly, none other than the king of the city, the legend, Rick Don't Go Mason.
Please, Rick, don't go.
Plus, in the building, Ken Alexander. Tickets are only $35 in advance and $45 at the door. VIP tables are on sale right now. For more information, call 662-242-8799 or 404-617-9423. It's first class at its best. This is another B&R production. We're back for the television talk show issue, sitting down with Ralph Carter. What's up,
Hey,
Ralph?
Brother Rick.
AKA Michael Evans, the little genius. Mike, man, talk to us. How was it working with Janet Jackson?
Well, I'll tell you point blankly, you want to be one of the most beautiful, humblest women in our industry, it will be Janet Jackson.
Wow.
What my goal was on Good Times was to make sure nobody messed with her.
And when we were speaking about that last night when you told me that, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, because Janet actually, for many years, I was the only child on set. So to have Janet come and join our cast was...
You was like a mentor,
it was
too,
a
to
breath of
assist.
fresh air. Yeah, my job was to make sure nobody messed with her.
Right.
If I'm charged of her, she got 6 brothers I got to answer to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And so you had dealings with Michael Jackson.
Oh,
Tito,
Michael Jackson was one
Jermaine?
of the nicest human beings that I've ever met on the planet Earth.
Wow.
The consistency with the Jackson brothers is that they're all very grounded and
brilliant.
down-to-earth human beings.
Like you.
But that has a lot to do with their mother, Catherine Jackson, because my mother, Lucille Carter, and Miss Catherine Jackson, they got along. Because in the earlier years when Janet was on our show, our mothers had to be there.
To collab, to make sure.
And to make sure for our safety.
Guardians.
However, we were able to negotiate with the producers that our mothers had their days free, and then there were guardians that we had that looked out and watched out for us.
Man, I tell you, that is real interesting, man. So what can they expect coming from Ralph Carter here in the future? What are some of the things you're working on?
Absolutely. Decades ago, I was in, like we're having our dialogue right now, Riggs. I had a man-to-man conversation with a prolific writer, Mr. August Wilson. August Wilson and I met in the early 1990s at the National Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem, Carolina. And what we do is it's a biannual event. Every 2 years, all the major actors from theater, television, and the I Knew You Win Back days, we all gather together in the form of a family reunion. It's a 7-day process. However, within that time span, I had the time to sit down and talk with August Wilson. At that time, I suggested to him my desire to write my autobiography. And one of the beauties of the legacy of August Wilson is that he wrote a play for every decade from the turn of the last century until he finished his final production of The Oceans. My point being that he suggested to me that I write my autobiography. Wow. I was thereby encouraged not only by August Wilson, but John Amos, who played my father on Good Times. He also emphasized the importance of me documenting my life, and the wonderful poetess of my youth, Miss Sonia Sanchez. So my point is that I completed 5 volumes of a 6-volume work.
Wow.
So by virtue of that, I'm looking forward to, we'll have another dialogue. It'll bring my opportunity to come back and
not only
share
this,
more.
I'm gonna invite you to Mississippi real soon.
I would love to come
bring you to the
one
South and
state.
let you just experience something different and maybe be able to talk to kids
Yes.
who may want to go to that next level in acting and playwriting and different things of that nature. Maybe you can encourage them.
I would encourage most people to, especially young African American girls and young boys, to never stop reading. They have to keep in mind, in this particular nation, it was against the law for our people to read.
And now we have the opportunity to do it.
And we must
now
take
we'll
full
look at
advantage.
pictures. We'll look at pictures all day long and not read what's what, because we'll take a story from the picture and not read the literature or the wording, and we be
Well,
thrown off.
as a professor in my universities, when I taught, I can tell when a student had not read a certain book. I can tell when they were just cutting and pasting and filling me and giving me fodder instead of, I wanted to know your substance.
Right.
So my point is that one of the fundamental things that happened after slavery, other than breathing, our people wanted to learn how to read.
And we saw that at the museum.
That was the
yesterday.
first
You
thing
saw
they
that
wanted
boat,
to
that ship.
They wanted to read. You know, I look back in history and I study the life of, let's say, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, and Nat Turner. Each one of those men led an African American slave revolt against slavery. And as a historian, I said, what is the defining component that made these men do what they did? Fundamentally, and as a matter of fact, they all could read.
Man.
Because they could read, they knew exactly what the enemy was doing at all times. This also occurred in the life of Toussaint Louverture in Haiti, because the Haitian Revolution preceded the revolutions we had here in slave uprising. So in Haiti, you had Boukman, Mackendal, Dessalines, Henri Christophe. All of these men defeated Napoleon.
Boy, you educated up there.
And reading is fundamental.
Fundamental, yes.
It's definitely, and that's not a cliche, it is.
Yes.
If you don't know, you won't know. And some people fight to be ignorant. You know, it took some people to say, oh, why you want to make me smart? It took me a long time to be this stupid.
Right.
But that stupidity will get you locked out of so many opportunities.
This is true.
Which is why I think the grace of John Amos, when he got his high school diploma on the show, it was a major victory. You know, and in that episode, it was good.
Let me put a pin right there because we brought up James' name several times in this interview. So, had James Evans actually ever whooped you? You know, on the show, you told him, come on, I'm ready to take my punishment. When you were getting in trouble, you in school, you refused to deal with something.
The threat was, let's say the bark was bigger than the bite.
Yeah.
So it really never occurred because I actually, I talked my way out of a whooping one time, especially when I called George Washington a white racist.
Yes.
And I proved unconditionally that he did own slaves.
Yes.
And I also proved the fact that an African American navigated the boats along with Christopher Columbus. So, I mean, even John at that time said, baby, did you know a spook sailed with Columbus?
and what about the picture of Jesus on the wall? When
I caught a lot of flack from the Black Jesus episode.
But look,
that happened to me when I
hold
came to
on.
work.
You know it's in Revelation that his feet
like copper,
hair
like wool,
yeah,
and skin of bronze.
Bronze.
That's in Revelation 1 through 14.
Yeah.
For those biblical
readers,
and reading that. Yeah. But it's 1 through 14. So I used the interpretation of the King James Version to show them. So I rest my case. But we got a lot of hate mail from that, from certain nations, or I should say states. Excuse me. I won't name no name.
Yes.
But Mississippi included.
Yeah, that's why you didn't come to Mississippi. Yes. So, man, I tell you, Rap Card, it's been a great sit down, man.
Thank you, brother.
And as we close this interview out, you know, JJ was y'all manager at one time with the three guys.
Yeah, JJ was the
senior
and
your mom came to the actual bar, and you was a teenager, and she came and got you out and said, you're not going to perform, you knew better.
Right, I was underage.
That's even when you was in the Warlord. She came to the game.
I like the Warlord because that was my coming of age episode.
That's Mad Dog. What was his name?
Mad Dog was in JJ's Game.
Okay.
And that's played by the actor Oscar DeGroot, played Mad Dog.
Wow.
And these actors are, for me, they're etched in stone as far as I'm concerned, because every week we had a different person that came in to join our cast.
Right.
I mean, we're talking the likes of Louis Gossett Jr. We're talking about Debbie Allen. These wonderful artists came through. Paula Kelly joined our cast one time. Rosalind Cash Roscoe Lee Brown.
Just,
These wonderful,
man.
wonderful
And
artists.
you still living in New York, Brooklyn?
I love where I live in Brooklyn.
Yes, yes.
Bernadette Stannis and I are
That's
from
it.
an area in Brooklyn called Brownsville.
Brownsville.
Shout out to Brownsville,
Brownsville.
Brooklyn. But my personal ancestors have been in America since 1799. My great ancestor was kidnapped from the region we now call Cameroon. I'm not going to tell you too much more because you got to read about it in volume
How can
1.
they find you books? How can they follow you?
Once I'm out, there'll be.
Well, how can they find you anyway?
We're gonna be.
I got to get you hooked up with social media
Yeah.
because you need to be all over social
I'm pretty
media.
much an introvert. When it's time to use social media
Uh-huh.
in that medium, then I will.
Say it again so they can get that
When
point.
it's time to use social media in that medium, then I will. And for the record, I have not been married 4 times. I don't have 11 children. Either I'm a deadbeat dad or the greatest lover in the world, baby.
Man, I tell you, Mike, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
please, man, can you close us out with that you and I, just a little snippet of it?
Here we are on earth together. It's you and I. God has made us fall in love. It's true. I really found someone like you. And I must make a point. The day we recorded that episodes and those episodes were good times, Stevie Wonder joined us for the entire day. Wow. It was the most gracious moment with Mr. Stevie Wonder.
Man, and I hate Keith never made it to the NFL.
God,
Yeah,
look at me. Oh,
Rookie league.
ain't no luck in the Evans household.
Man, it's been a great episode. Ralph Carter from Good Times, a.k.a. Michael Evans. Check out my television show, Issues, each and every Saturday morning on the all-new CW WLOV at 5:30 a.m. Central DVR. Sunday night at 10 p.m. on My Mississippi One in 4 states, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Arkansas. And then throughout the social media world, we're all over the world. We're here live from Baltimore, and we're going to make our way to Howard University a little later on today.
That's right.
For the Justice on Trial Reload. Shouts out to Chad Lawson Cooper, again, the executive producer, playwright, and movie producer, man, Hairlytics, and so many others, man, that are tied in to what we do. Blessings to each and every one of you. 662-386-6064 if you want to be a part of any platform that I have going on. We got the event corner coming up on Mix 106.1. Join us inside the event corner with Love on the Saturday morning show. Plus, check me out inside the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, the morning kickback.
Hey, Ricky.
Each and every morning at 9:30 a.m. for the hottest 2 minutes in radio. And man, we just happy to be here, man. We happy to have you. And again, man, it's a pleasure. I just want to thank a lot of my sponsors, 2-in-1 Connections, Big Mo, Lee Nails, Barker Alignment Plus, Rob Bobo Insurance, Gara Spas, Exclusive Clothing, got his grand opening February the 8th. Also, B&R Production coming up. You know anything about Southern Soul and Blues?
I know it. I'm a black man in America.
But you don't know that about that Southern Soul. Coming up, Marcellus, the singer Toxic, Jason A, February the 14th on a Friday, B&R Production, Justice Watch Repair. Plus today going on, D. Hayes having a brunch party, DJ show, and Geezy is going to be there as well. So y'all get ready. Y'all know it's going to be at the Lyceum place. Plus, Toya going to have a food truck. Latoya from, Red Child's daughter, Toya from State Farm. She's going to have a food truck up at the car wash on North Side today. Y'all go by and see a big red truck. She'll be sitting there at her daddy's place selling hot fish, hot chicken, stuff like that.
Bring the hot sauce.
I bring the hot sauce. Plus 2-in-1 Details, my boy. What's up with you? You know what you call you. A. Taylor Auto Sales, Jones Expansion, Real Estate Group. Also, Southside Missionary Baptist Church, CU 950. My pastor, Rayfield Evans Jr., bringing the word, loving people, loving God, and making disciples. Plus, don't forget, man, it's going on with Northside Christian Church. They got a big, beautiful, I want to call it, it's an African American moment for Black History Month, but they do a program every year. They had Vivica Fox last year, and I was honored. She was the keynote speaker, and I was honored to MC that particular event. But this year, they bring the man from The Forge, the actual movie. So that's going to be real big. We have more information coming up with that. Shouts out to Pastor Orlando Richmond, Ty Curry, TYICURRY, giving away a 2016 Escalade. It is on 2018 Escalade on 26-inch chrome wheels. And guess what? The majority of the proceeds are going to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, the local Boys and Girls Club. This young man here, he just make cars, build cars, buy them, sell them, and put them out there so that he can be able to give back. Shouts out to Ty Curry, February the 9th, half-time Super Bowl. He's going to be giving away 662-251-6967. If you want to go ahead on and register now and be a part of that. Man, it's been great, and I think we have had a great show today. Again,
And our prayers to all the people in California who
yes,
recently lost
and sorry
their
for your
home,
family.
to all the tragedies that people are going through. God bless you and your families. And we pray that there'll always be a better day.
And those mudslides are taking place down in California
Never curse the day because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
tomorrow. And prayers the loss of the people in the airplane.
In the airplane.
Just yesterday, I went live from there talking about it, and it's so quiet and humble
So
at the
much
airport.
sadness.
And then Philadelphia just had a situation.
Yes, and my baby sister lives in the state of Pennsylvania.
Is this the
in
devil,
Philadelphia.
demons, or what?
You know, life
Oh,
has
it's
its
life.
ways.
Life be life.
Yeah, life is gonna be life. You can't. It's not a blame thing. It's like this is what's happening right now.
Man. Shouts out to Larry Tate, Larry Welker, D-Wee, should I say, DJ Paul Wall. Man, we gonna holler at y'all. Plus, it's a lot going on. Elections are coming up in the city of Columbus. Oh man, I got more stuff to come. I'm going to talk, and I understand a lot of things happen in the executive session that people don't know about, but Rick Mason got the word, so we're gonna give it to you. Be sure to go out and vote, whatever you do. How important is voting?
I think voting is a necessity. So many people risk their lives to do it. Don't take it for granted. Your vote does matter. You just have to know how to collate and join in a united front. That way you can change things within the regions of where you live for better housing and health conditions.
And people
Because
need to understand
need
that.
that.
Yes.
And don't forget the children because they are watching us.
Man, we got more to come. Issues Television Talk Show. Stick and stay. Again, I'll be coming on Love Bone here shortly. You guys keep listening, keep locking in, and keep tuned in to Issues Television Talk Show. Ralph Carter, a.k.a. Michael Evans from The Good Times. Can you look in that camera and say, Issues?
Issues.
Can you say The Morning Kickback?
The morning kickback.
Man, blessings from Baltimore. And again, we're getting ready to head into Howard University here shortly, man. It's been a pleasure, man. You have really educated us.
Thank you.
And I've been educated as well. And it's been a pleasure to actually work with you and to hang out with you for the last few days, man. We have learned a lot from each other, man. And I look forward to doing some works with you.
May this be the
This
continuation.
is what this is about. Relationships
Our
and
bond.
building and not just saying we're going to do something and not do it, but be and stand on it.
That's correct.
One more time, Issues.
Issues.
See you guys shortly. More to come. I'm your host and executive producer, Rick Mason, along with my beautiful wife, Aisha Jefferson Mason. We got more to come.